Hello classmates, welcome to our first discussion, and please don't forget to log into your attendance before joining me in this discussion. So for our first discussion, I'm going to discuss to you the introduction of NSTP, or the National Service Training Program. Okay, so let me proceed on the next slide. So what do we need to know in this discussion? So first, I'm going to discuss to you what is NSTP and also the objectives of NSTP. I'm going to discuss also the vision, mission, and objectives of the University of Baguio NSTP and the ECOS, as well as the RA 10121 and the NSRC, or the National Service Reserve Corps. Okay, so let us proceed now. Let's start with understanding now what is actually an NSTP. So NSTP is also known as the RA 9163 or the NSTP Act of 2001. And definitely this is a law. Okay, so this is a law that is implemented here in our country, and this was approved and implemented last 2001. That's why it is termed as the NSTP Act of 2001. And 2002, a lot of university, as long as with the University of Baguio, we already offered this type of subject or course. Okay, so 2002 actually na-implement yung or na-offer yung NSTP here in our university. Okay, so NSTP, according to the law or according to the RA 9163, first year college, male or females, are going to take a 1 year service training program, and that is based on the NSTP. Okay, and also the main objective of NSTP in general is that to promote the role of the youth in nation building. Okay, so for you, my dear classmate, you have that particular role to contribute in the nation building. Okay, so to do that one, the NSTP will promote now what we call the civic awareness, and to every students who are taking the NSTP. What else? Defense preparedness, and through training, and then will build students or young people to become a military leaders, and as well as to build also to become volunteers, and yung act of volunteerism, and also promoting the voluntary services to our fellow countrymen, and also with our friends, our classmates, and to others. Okay, so that is the NSTP. Now look at the picture, on the right side of our screen. You can see there the word training. So in NSTP, basically we have what we call the training. So we're going to train you on how to coach, how to teach, in teaching, in gaining new knowledge and skills, developing the skills or enhancing the skills, experiences, and then learn, develop either social skills or the different kinds of skills that is in line to NSTP. Okay, so let me proceed now to the next slide. Now, the question is, what is the importance, or what is the significance of NSTP to you as a student here in the University of Baguio? So, NSTP to UBNs, what is the importance of this subject to you? Okay, so here in our university, let's try to look at first the vision of our school or university. So according to the vision, it stated that in a pursuit of perfection, the University of Baguio is committed to provide balanced quality education by nurturing academic excellence, relevant social skills, and ethical values in a fun learning environment. Okay, so let us highlight the words, which is the relevant social skills and the ethical values, which is actually related, or let's say similar to the objective of the NSTP. So one way for us to achieve the vision or to contribute in the accomplishment of the vision of our university is that we need to finish also our NSTP course or NSTP subject. Okay, so aside from the vision, let's try to look at also the mission of our university. And let us connect this one into NSTP. So for the mission of our university, stated that the University of Baguio educates individuals to be empowered professionals in a global community. So in support to this mission of our school, UB-NSTP provides the opportunities for students to develop civic consciousness, defense preparedness, love of country, and the commitment to serve. Okay, so basically, if you try to look at the UB-NSTP mission or the objective or aim, it is quite similar, no, to the general objective of the NSTP. And again, for us to achieve, the mission of our university, which is to at least contributes to the mission of our university, we're going to finish also, this or accomplish also the opportunities that is being provided by the NSTP. Okay, so which is to develop the following, yung civic consciousness, yung defense preparedness, love of country, and the commitment to serve to other people, or within to serve the country. Okay, so we are also trying to develop yung patriotism and then yung nationalism. Okay, and in other terms, we can say that we are we are practicing, or we are trying to develop what we call the ethics of service, and the commitment to serve or person, so that students or you, my dear classmate, will become a person of service to others. So what does it mean when we talk about person of service to others? Starting in our school, you're going to serve, you're going to serve, you're going to offer services to our university, and then also to the communities that you will be involved or will be engaged. What else? Even to your own community. So whatever you learn from the NSTP, you're going to apply that one, or you will be developed to become a person of service to other people. Okay, so that is basically, when you talk about the UB-NSTP, as well as in line to the vision and mission of our university. And aside from the vision, mission, or the NSTP here in our university, decide to look at also the one particular or specific office, that is connected or a partner of the UB-NSTP, which is the Extension and Community Outreach Services, or also known as the ECOS. So what is the function? What is the function of this ECOS, and what is actually doing it to the NSTP? Okay, so for this particular office, or the ECOS, is actually responsible to what we call in helping students as well as instructors to engage, or involve in the community. So their main function is more on engagement or involvement in the community, because the ECOS is actually having an extensions and community outreach. So they have a lot of projects that is in line to extensions in community outreach. Okay, so for examples, we have their Adapt a School. And so the ECOS are also having this kind of particular extension or project, or let's say outreach. So they adapted a school, and then whatever the needs of the school, or let's say whatever the services that we can offer them, whatever the assistance that can be given to them or given to that particular school, then that is considered to be a very good project and a very good extension or a community outreach. Aside from the Adapt a School, they also have a project or extension which is to adapt a barangay. So say similar to school, that they're going to give also assistance as well as services that can be given to that particular barangay, and especially the constituent of this particular barangay. Yan. And not only barangay and school, we have also Adapt a Park. So even a park is being adopted by this by our university through ECOS, and that is one extension and community outreach of the ECOS, and to monitor, or let's say to maintain the looks, and then the looks or appearance, or the cleanliness or the health of that particular park. Okay, and other special projects. So like for example, medical missions, dental missions, what else? Tree planting programs. Those things, no, are a very good extensions and community outreach of the ECOS. And students, no, students or the UB NSTP students are encouraged, no, to join those different extensions in community outreach. In fact, the ECOS are also giving us, or they are also having webinars or webinar trainings and workshop that is also to help the university students, no, or not only in NSTP but also in the other subjects. But again, no, ang UB NSTP and also the ECOS are connected, or let's say they are partner, no? So we always look into this office that will help us to be engaged or to be involved, no, in the community, especially during your immersion, no, during your NSTP program number 2, that you will be deployed already in the particular community within Baguio, or maybe in if it is applicable, no, with the other communities outside Baguio, no. So that is the function actually of the extension and community outreach services. So if you are wondering why is it that I am introducing to you the ECOS, because they are the ones who are responsible with this engagement and involvement in our community. Okay, so it helps a lot actually with the UB NSTP as well as with the NSTP students. Okay, so let us talk now about the RA 10121, or the Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Act of 2001. So this is actually one of the main content, no, of our introduction. So why is it that we come up with this different terms, like for example NSRC, and kung bakit meron tayong tinatawag na National Service Reserve Corps, because of the RA 10121, or the Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Act of 2001. So let us look at first the different components, no, of the NSTP, so that I will give you the idea on why is it that we created what we call yung NSRC. So there are 3 components of NSTP. The first one is the Literacy Training Service, or also known as the LTS. And when we talk about this component of the NSTP, the aim is to train, no, the student or the NSTP students to teach, no, the children, particularly in the kindergarten, as well as the out of school youth, no, about literacy and then numeracy. Okay, so basically it is more on teaching how to read, how to write, how to compute, and that is other related things that or activities that is in line to literacy and numeracy skills. Okay, so aside from the LTS, we also have what we call the Civic Welfare Training Service, or the CWTS. So this is very familiar or very popular, no, to most of the students, because most of the course, or let's say most of the programs, I should say, they are taking up this type of component of the NSTP. No, so most of you are actually having this type or in line to this component of the NSTP. So CWTS is more likely to aim in enhancement of facilities. And so it is true that you're going to clean, let's say the street or maybe part of that community. You're going to paint the wall. You're going to paint the pedestrian lane, and other things, no, related to the enhancement of facilities. But take note, no, not only limited to enhancement of facilities. We also conduct more than, no, the enhancement of facilities. Sometimes you will assist also in the what you call in the medical missions. What else? You can also attend a tree planting program. So it is not really limited, no, to the enhancement of facilities. So this is the wrong notion or misunderstanding, especially to those first years who are entering or taking up this type of component of the NSTP. No, so please, no, be reminded that it's not only limited to the enhancement of facilities, or not only limited to cleaning activities, kasi yun kasi yung lagi nating nakikita, no, that is the things that we observe to the NSTP students, yung pag CWTS na ang pinag-usapan. Pero please, no, erase that wrong notion or misunderstanding when we talk about CWTS. Okay, so aside from CWTS and LTS, we also have the ROTC component of the NSTP, or also known as the Reserve Officers Training Corps. So this is now more to what we call the military training. So they are most likely to be the students to be top during there is a problem on defense, no, or the national defense. Yan. What else? If we go back again on the objective of the NSTP, we mentioned about the defense preparedness. So how to do that one? Yan. One of the ways is that this one, no, yung there are some students who will be taking up the ROTC component. Okay, so there are programs that is really fitted or required to take this component. There are also some programs that is not really required, no, to come up to take or to have this type of component of the NSTP. Okay, same as true with the other two components. Okay, now, my dear classmate, if you are a graduate, no, if you are a graduate of, or graduates of the LTS and CWTS, that's the time that you will be a member, or you will be called to be part of what we call the National Service Reserve Corps. Okay, so we come up with the term National Service Corps, Reserve Corps, because you are a graduate of the LTS and CWTS. So it means that the CWTS and LTS are combined, and it is independent, no, or separated, to be separated to the Reserve Officers Training Corps. So we are the National Service Reserve Corps is considered to be the non-reserve officers training corps. So hindi sila or let's say non-military trainings yung ginagawa, no, ng National Service Reserve Corps, kasi nga LTS and CWTS. Okay? And for us to understand more about the NSRC, let's try to have a brief history, no, on when you talk of these NSTP, no? So brief history, the National Disaster Risk and Reduction Management Council, and then the Department of National Defense created a technical working group, or the TWG, to create now what we call the implementing guidelines and procedures of the NSRC. So since it is already put to the policy, or to the RA 10121, that we come up with the NSRC, and we need to have also what we call the implementing guidelines and the procedures. Okay, so last 2011 they proposed this NSRC IGP, and then after 6 months, last June 13, 2012, it was already approved, no? And this is also the basis of our school on coming up with this particular guidelines, or so articles on the guidelines and policies towards the NSTP program here in our university. So let's talk about the legal basis, no, on how they approve, or what is the legal basis on coming up with this implementing guidelines and procedures of the NSRC. Okay, so number one there is the Section 13 of the RA 10121, or yung Section 13 ng Philippine Risk Reduction Management here in our country, no? And also yung Rule 9 of the Implementing Rules and Regulation, and then as well as the NSTP's revised Implementing Rules and Regulation, that is under Section 11. Now we're in it is said that the NSRC was as you are a graduate of the two components, which is the LTS and the CWTS, you will be member of, or to be part of the NSRC, or yung National Service Reserve Corps. Okay, so Section 13 or of RA 10121 is actually the accreditation section, no? So they accredited now the implementation of this, or the approval of this NSRC implementing guidelines and procedures. Okay, and I have said that this is the basis, no, of coming up also with the NSRC units here in our school. Okay, so aside from that one, it is also one of the reasons why our school or our university come up with this two different types of NSTPs, no? So we have the NSTP program 1 and NSTP program number 2 that will be covered by the students. So for NSTP program 1, this is more likely to the first semester, or for the first one that you're going to take up before taking up yung NSTP program number 2, because NSTP program 1 is more likely to discussions or preparing you to NSTP program number 2, because NSTP program 2 is more likely to more on deployment already, your community immersion. Okay, but then that will be discussed more later on the next chapters. Okay. And since we have said that if we try to look at the history, no, the created NSRC IGP was under the NDRRMC. That's why we have this general guideline or implementing guidelines and procedures of the NSRC by the NDRRMC. Okay, so the National Disaster Reduction Risk in Reduction Management Council. Okay, so again, no, the legal basis, this implementing guidelines and procedures are the following. No, ulitin lang natin, similar with the previous slide, which is the section 13 of RA 10121, and as well as yung rule 9 ng implementing rules and regulation, and the section 11 of the RA 9163 or yung ating NSTP Act of 2001. Okay, and if we try to look at the content, no, or the different sections under the implementing guidelines and procedures on coming up with this NSRC, no, or yung NSRC IGP, please, no, review the section number 3 and section number 4. That is more on the definition of terms. What is the meaning of the NSRC? What is the meaning of the NSCDO or OD, and other different terms, no, that you need to know about that particular section. Anyways, I have given you this assignment, no, for you to read yung etong first part and even the second part of the module. So I hope that you have read, no, these particular sections. So one of the sections that I want to highlight, no, so that we will not take all these sections or will not take the whole period on this discussion, let me highlight yung section number 5. No? So section number 5 is the mission, functions, and then composition of these implementing guidelines and procedures. Okay, so let me just again, no, give you the what's it called? The mission, functions, and composition of the implementing guidelines and procedures. So for the mission of this the NSRC, the mission of the NSRC is that to provide a trained, motivate, and organized manpower reserve that can be tapped by the state for DRRM, civic welfare, literacy, national emergency, environmental protection, and other similar endeavors in the service of the nation. So whatever the objective, no, or the aim of the LTS and CWTS, that is the combined function also of this NSRC. At the same time, it is also in line to the mission, which is to, again, no, trained and motivate and organize manpower reserve. So we are the non-military reserve corps, no, kaya tinawag na National Service Reserve Corps. So we are more likely to during calamities, no, during maybe what you call during evacuations, then we are those graduates with this particular component of the NSTP or member of the NSRC will be tapped during those times. Okay? And aside from the mission, we need to look at also the functions, no, of this NSRC, no, or the National Service Reserve Corps. So what are the functions? So I have said to you that during calamities, we're going to assist, no, disaster preparedness. What else? Mitigation, response, and rehabilitation programs, promotion of civic welfare activities, implementation of literacy programs. Yan, yung mga graduates ng LTS, no. So literacy and numeracy programs, socioeconomic development, respond in case of mobilization for national emergency, yun nga, evacuations, going to assist, deliver what you call food, or yes, food packages to those people affected with this particular, let's say, typhoon, or maybe a type of calamity, no? Environmental protection, and perform other similar endeavors that as directed by the higher DRRM authorities. Okay, so that is why when you talk about the implementing guidelines and procedures, it is under still with the National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council. Okay, so that is how it works, no, when you talk about the NSRC. So we have a lot of functions that is non-military, no? Again, no, I always repeat yung non-military so that you will not be confused when you talk about NSRC and then compared to the ROTC. Okay, and again, I have mentioned when you talk about the composition, it only composed of the graduates of LTS and then the CWTS. So it means that if you are already a graduate of these components, or this either of the two components, you will be continuing, or let's say you're going to extend, no, your service through become or a member of what we call yung NSRC. So kapag graduate ka na ng NSTP under the components CWTS or LTS, is not yet done, no? or it does not the learning as well as the training will not stop there. You can still continue on this particular terms, no, and then condition under what we call yung NSRC. Okay, so that is actually a very good way to be prepared also, no, not only in a particular community, but as well as on your home, no, or in your personal life. You will be directed, or you learn also a lot of things that you can do, no, not only to yourself and even to your family or your own community. Okay, and what else that we need to know in this discussion aside from section number 5? Please go over also with section number 6, no, of this implementing guidelines and procedures. So please do take note the following. We have what we call yung NSDO, or this is the National Service Reserve Corps School Directory Office, and then we also have the National Reserve Service Corps Community Directory Office. Yan. So if it is more on school based yung activities natin, or let's say the things that you need to communicate, then you need to look at for the NSDO. And for community based activities and then or engagement or involvement of the activities, then you need to communicate with the NCDO, yan, Community Directory Office. Same as true when you talk about this NSRC reserve units, no? So we are again a member, no, of the NSRC reserve units if you are a graduate of CWTS and LTS. So we have also a community-based NSRC reserve units, and we have also a school-based NSRC reserve units. So basically, if you are still in school, you're still taking yung ating NSTP program 1 or NSTP program number 2, you are still considered to be part of the school-based NSRC reserve units. Okay, so if you are already graduate, then that's the time that you can proceed already to what we call yung community-based NSRC reserve units. Okay, and other terms, please again go over, no, on these other parts of the organization or the section number 6. Right, for section number 7, that is more on the administration of NSRC reservist groups or units. So that is already the function or the responsibility or the function of the OCD or yung Office of Civil Defense. But I will not talk about that one. Let us proceed to section number 8. This is one of the highlight also of this content, no, of the implementing guidelines and procedures. So basically in section number 8, the trainings, no, that is why after when you talk about the NSRC, if you are a member already of the NSRC, you will be having a different trainings, no. So the higher education institutions, so yung mga colleges or universities under CHED will be the CHED will be providing a training, no, that is related to this related to the objectives, no, or of the NSRC. What else? TVET, the Technical Vocational Education Training. Yan. under TESDA will also be providing trainings, no, to those who are member of the NSRC. And as well as yung ating LGU, no, or yung local government units natin, as well as yung mga accredited national government organizations. So there are also other, not only the local government, but as well as yung mga NGOs. Okay, so please do take note on that one. And other other trainings and webinars will be given, no, in this particular section, no, or part of this implementing guidelines and procedures. Okay, so again, andyan ang CHED, andyan ang TESDA, andyan ang LGUs, andyan ang NGOs, no, yung accredited NGOs that they are capable or they are approved to provide trainings or seminars or workshop, no, to those who are member of or under the NSRC. Okay, and other sections that you need to take note or check in the implementing guidelines and procedures, the utilization, what else, the mobilization. Utilization is more of the, what do you call this one, this is related again to the RA 9163, and how is how it is being the reservices and units shall be utilized in accordance to the RA 10121 and yung ating NSTP Act of 2001. So it's not limited to the following, like for example yung mitigation, preparedness, prevention, response, relief and rehabilitation, environmental protection, preservation. So basically utilization is more on the things also, no, that we're going to do as part of the NSRC. Okay, so how do we utilize those different functions or activities that we're going to do. Okay? And even the Office of the Civil Defense, no, shall prescribe the procedures for the utilization of the NSRC reservists and units in coordination with the CHED or TESDA. For school-based, we have the NSRCs, and with the DILG and LGUs or LDRMCs for community-based NSRCs. Okay, so that is also one thing that you need to take note when you talk about utilization. Now, more on yung school-based NSRC, we have the CHED or TESDA. Kapag community-based, yan, NSRCs, it is with the DILG and as well as yung LGU at saka yung local disaster risk reduction management councils. Okay? And for mobilization, this is more on what you call this one, the NSRC reservices or reservist units. We're going to help, no, on the during disaster, what else, during emergencies or other DRRM purposes. Okay, it is also said that what we call this one, we're going to assist and then we're going to guide the local, no, regarding this during calamities or during disaster or any of the emergency cases that is happening within our country or maybe in a particular community. Okay, so how we're going to assist them on the evacuation center, what else, we're going to deliver relief goods and etc. Okay? And other functions that we're going to do that is still under the law of the RA 10121 or even the what's that, the direct of this direct from the different direct offices, no, like for example yung DRRMC or maybe on from the highest or higher education institutions or maybe CHED or TESDA. Okay, and operation for the section 11, that is operation, that is also, it is mentioned also the functions, no, or responsibilities of the Office of the Civil Defense, the higher education under CHED or TVETs, that is under TESDA, and then we also have the function of the LGU. Please go over on that one again. And section 12, protection of NSRC reservists. This is now the protection of NSRC reservists during their mobilization, the deployment and utilization. So this is now how, no, it is mentioned here, how is the protection of this members also, or those who are under the NSRC. Okay, so that even though they are being deployed, no, in that particular place, or in that particular task or activity, then it's good thing that we have yung protection of NSRC guideline, no, or guideline in this section number 12, which is the protection of NSRC reservists. And section number 13, that is only the accreditation. Again, no, that is the basis or legal basis on approving or a basis for implementing guidelines and procedures for the NSRC. Okay. What else? Funding. That is only about the funding of the NSRC. What are the particular offices that is responsible on funding the NSRC? And so we have the LGUs, no, yung concerned LGUs in that particular community, the local DRRMC also in that particular LGU. That will be, we have also what we call the local calamity fund, no, or other source of fund, no, that will be serve as a funding for the NSRC reservists. Okay. Funds also, that is funds needed for the organization and utilization of the school-based NSRC reserves, are also coming from the institution itself. Yan. So, kunwari, yung school-based natin na NSRC reservists, let's say the graduates, or let's say you are not yet graduate, no, the NSTP, those who are under NSTP program number 2, then, or it is a member of the NSRC reservist units, school-based, then the institution, na whatever, let's say for example, dito sa UB, we have what we call the NSRC reservist unit, no, in the University of Baguio. So University of Baguio itself, we're going to fund, no, or give fund to this NSRC reserve unit of the school. Okay, so that is how it works. No, kapag school-based, syempre yung school. Kapag sa community, syempre yung mismong community that is under, or the LGU itself that wherein the NSRC reservists are working with, or doing the different tasks, no, that is being directed to them. Okay? Section 15, that is the evaluation and submission reports. So the OCD, or the Office of the Civil Defense, through the LD, the local disaster risk reduction management offices, are in coordination with the CHED or the TESDA, and shall conduct yung periodic evaluation na tinatawag natin for NSRC units to ensure their operational capability. So aside from the trainings that they are doing, they will also undergo what we call yung evaluation. So parang examination din, no? So they have the maybe physical examination, what else, whatever the training that they have given to them previously, they're going to be tested during this. How is the outcome, and so on. Okay? And CHED and TESDA shall submit a yearly report on the roster of CWTS and LTS graduates to the Office of the Civil Defense. So it means that if you are a graduate under university, yung higher education institutions, then your name as a graduate of CWTS or LTS will be submitted doon sa OCD. Okay? And OCD shall consolidate all the reports for submission to the National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council. So from CHED, from TESDA, it will be transferred to the OCD, and then OCD will transfer it to the National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council. Okay, so that is how it works. No, they're going to transfer your names as a member of the NSRC. Okay? Or even you are a graduate, or if you are a graduate already of the LTS or the CWTS component of the NSTP. Okay? And other sections, like for example, section number 16, that is the, I think that is, you just going to read that one, no? More on the provision, yung closing, yung amendatory clause, separability clause, etc. But those are the highlight, no? The highlight sections or important sections that you need to know under this implementing guidelines and procedures. So that is how it works, or why is it that we have what we call the term NSRC, and even yung NSRC implementing guidelines and procedures. So again, if you're a graduate now of this CWTS and LTS, automatically you will be a member or part of this NSRC reservist unit, or let's say yung NSRC or yung National Service Reserve Corps, no? So non-military reservists. So on the other hand, we also have the ROTC as more on the military training, or more on the military activities, or more on defense preparedness actually yung ating ROTC. Okay, so that is the discussion for our implementing guidelines and procedures. And again, no, the NSTP Act of 2001 and or RA 9163 will be discussed to you on the next chapter, so that you will understand more about those components, or what are the functions of this, or who are the ones who will take up those different components, and other important details regarding the NSTP. Okay, so that's it, my dear classmate. No, thank you so much for attending or joining me to this discussion, or for this first discussion. So if you have any questions or clarifications, please feel free not to ask that one. You can use our group chat, or you can use our Canvas. No? So thank you so much, my dear classmate. Again, stay safe. Despite of this pandemic, always take care, and then enjoy the rest of the day. And God bless everyone.